Business Ethics is the third episode of the fifth season of The Office. This is directed by Jeffrey Blitz, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. In general, it's fine. There's nothing about it I didn't like. There wasn't anything that didn't work well, but I didn't really think it was that interesting. There wasn't really a lot that I found to be that funny either. So it's fine, but it's definitely not a favourite. Starts off with Pam on the phone to Jim, and Jim then announces... Actually, that's a lie. There is a bit that I absolutely loved. Jim announces to the office that he and Pam are engaged, and people aren't really that bothered. Some people thought they already were engaged, and then Michael comes in, and Michael finds out, and he runs at Jim and basically jumps into a hug, and Jim just falls to the floor. Watch it in 0.5 speed. It is so funny. That, for me, is the highlight of the episode. One of my favourite Office moments altogether, actually. I really, really loved it. And the rest of the episode focuses on this ethics class. It starts off with Holly and Michael doing this dance to Let's Get Physical. Obviously, Let's Get Ethical. It's nice to see Holly matching Michael's energy. It's really nice. And then Michael encourages people to confess to things they've done wrong in the office that might be not very ethical, and it's fine, it's awkward, it's not something he should be doing, and this is where we start to see a difference between Michael and Holly, because Michael doesn't take things seriously or professionally, whereas Holly definitely does. And it's kind of nice to see that she's not just a carbon copy of Michael. Yes, she can match his goofiness and his silliness and his humour, but she's still professional. So it's nice that they're not just identical, that she's not just the female version of Michael, which I think was a really good decision. And Meredith confessed that she's been sleeping with a supplier in exchange for this discount and other stuff, and it was awkward. And we do get a meeting between Holly and Michael and Meredith, and Michael's basically trying to tell Meredith all of the right things to say so it's not a big deal, but she just keeps saying things that are a real problem for Holly. She can't just let this slide. So she and Michael go out to eat to discuss Meredith in more detail. And while they're there, Holly says to Michael, "It's not a family, it's a workplace." Which is the exact opposite of how Michael sees things. And it was definitely a little bit awkward. And then things work in Michael's favour and Meredith's favour, and that's pretty much where we leave things. We had a teeny tiny subplot with Jim logging every time Dwight stopped working, and that includes stopping to yawn or stopping to sneeze. He's doing it just to wind Dwight up, of course, and it was fine until we saw Dwight peeing in a bottle, which I could have done without, but it was fine. I think we could have maybe got a little bit more out of that because the main narrative wasn't the funniest. But I do think we got to dig a little bit deeper into Holly's character. We get to see this more professional side of her to solidify the fact that she's not just a carbon copy of Michael. And I like that. I thought it worked really well. The only bit I found really funny was at the beginning when Michael jumped on Jim and they fell, and it was, yeah, watch it on 0.5 speed. It's a lot of fun. It's not a bad episode. I don't dislike it. There's nothing about it that doesn't work. It's just maybe not the funniest. So I don't have too much else to say. It works well. Is this maybe the first episode where Pam hasn't actually been in it? We hear her voice, but I don't know. I can't say that for certain, but it might well be. But either way, it's a decent episode. Can't fault it. Never going to be a personal favourite. Business Ethics was still a good episode, though.